So with the Conor McGregor, like, what's one of his strengths, and then how would you try and deal with it? Like, I get it. He's like a legend.
Leg kicks, butcher him with leg kicks. I mean, you saw his last,
Yeah. But what's it like to fight when it's like, it's just professional? Like, this dude didn't say anything about your girl, or maybe did, I don't know. But like, it's just, hey, you're assigned to fight this guy.
I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but
right.
you know where I was going.
Understood.
Yeah.
The hottest street boys, hottest street boys, hottest street boys. It's the hottest street boys.
Like and subscribe.
That's what I'm going to do to you.
What, just slap my wrist?
Yeah.
Well, I grew up Catholic, so that means nothing. I'm excited about this episode. We got Johnny Smith on. He's a trainer at Traction.
Johnny Smith.
So big time athlete, trains a lot of collegiate athletes, pro athletes, young athletes too. Just a very athletic dude if you're kind of picking up what we're putting down. But also a mixed martial arts fighter. Like, that's what I see him post about mostly on the internet. And I'm really curious about that, because I've trained and I've worked out, but I've never really fought in a gym, in an octagon, in a polygon, or any geometric shape. Really.
Yeah. I fight at the Exxon.
Yeah. If there's not an octagon, sort it out at the Exxon.
That's what I do.
Yeah, that's country law, bro. Yeah.
Over on Broadway Drive. Y'all know what's up.
Dude, you're fighting over there, bro?
Well, sometimes people come at you the wrong way, and you're like, whoa. Mm-hmm. Step off.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, dude, Broadway Drive's intense. But I really want to find out what it's like to go through, like, training camp. He fights all the time.
Does he?
He's got a great record. Yeah, he'll take fights, like, on 6 weeks' notice. Like, and less.
I was going to say, like, we should ask him about his training method and how spaced out are these fights.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. So he's awesome. I'm excited about it. Johnny Smith, remember, like, subscribe, share. You can also check out our Patreon. That's how you support us monthly. Like $3 a month, $5 a month. You get early episodes. You get some behind the scenes footage. It's just a way to help us keep all this content going, because we do put the show on by ourselves. We do want to shout out Community Bank. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. We love you. Also, if you want to sponsor an episode, we have all kinds of options. We can do ads. You can come be on the show.
Yeah.
So work with us. This is our business. We're trying to grow it. Just same way we want the city to grow. So holler at us. We want to do business with you, and we want to get some. We want to spotlight you. That's why we did this, right?
Exactly.
We get enough attention. Actually, I'm kind of over the attention. We want to give you some attention. So
Your turn.
Holler at us, DM us, comment, email us at thehardystreetboys@gmail.com. All that stuff. All that business is out of the way. It's time to get Johnny Smith on. You ready, Jamie?
Hold on. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm impressed.
Fade out king.
I'm impressed. I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm very impressed.
Are you pumped right now?
Good. I was keeping up with the time over there. I was like, all right, this might actually work for a walkout song.
Heck yeah. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
That's so unsettling. So Johnny Smith, man, we know you as a trainer at Traction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Athlete.
Yes,
and then you're also a fighter. But let's start with your athletic background. How'd you get into sports?
So I went to a small school. I graduated with like 26 people. So you had to play everything. I was football, baseball, soccer, played soccer in college for like a year and a half. That was a very failed college soccer career. But because I failed, I kind of got into the whole coaching deal because of that. It made me like, how am I going to make kids better than what I was? And so that's kind of what fed into that.
Yeah.
And then that kind of also fed into the whole fighting thing. But truly, it was literally from a failed college soccer career.
Bro, you're in good company. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Failed college soccer career, and maybe just now got over it like a couple weeks ago. But it's one of those things, like coaching is like a fun way to like deal with all that energy that you would have used as a player. You know, is that one of the reasons you kind of got into training? Like, how did you find yourself? Because like, if anybody follows you on Instagram, the Ticket MMA, you know, you have your fighting stuff that people can check out, but the day-to-day training stuff that you do is really cool too. So how'd you kind of get into that like elite level of training?
So I ended up, I went through exercise physiology at Southern Miss. And we had to do an internship to graduate. But we also had to do what's called a practicum. And a practicum is like a 100-hour internship that really should be an easy A. Well, I did it with the football team at Southern Miss. And I was there 60 hours a week. Dove straight into being a strength conditioning coach. Worked with some pretty cool guys. Like, some of them are doing some awesome stuff now. Like, a few of them were at Kansas for a bit, Missouri for a bit. Some's at Cal State. So I got to learn some pretty good guys, and because of that, it just kind of brought out that nerd in me a little bit.
Yeah.
In high school, I definitely was not a nerd, but for some reason in college, I kind of became a nerd.
Right.
And then we just dove deep into it. Then after I finished at USM with the football team, and I got to work with golf and a couple other sports like that, I went out to Exos in Dallas, Texas. Have y'all ever heard of Exos?
What's that?
Exos was started by Mark Verstegen. It was called API, Athletes Performance. And they are known for kind of building the NFL Combine program. Wow. Obviously the NFL Combine is a huge deal. And they were the first people that specifically trained people for that. They started in 1999, so forever ago. And, they have 150 guys a year. Sounds like I'm plugging them in right now, but that's why I learned. I learned everything from there. And I went and worked in Colorado for a bit, and then came all the way back to Hattiesburg.
So collegiate strength and conditioning coach with the Eagles, right? Golden Eagles.
Intern, yeah.
Intern. Still doing in that realm, right? Dude, they say though, like, especially with college football programs, like, you can tell there's going to be a successful program by who the strength and conditioning coach is. Do you believe that?
You can, but I feel like there's a lot of strength and conditioning coaches that take too much pride in their work, and they think that, oh, I did this, I made this who it is. No, those athletes do that. Like, we might be 10, 20%. Now, that 10 or 20% can help you a lot. Like, it can help you a lot. But as far as, like, their day-to-day playing on the field, like, no, you're minuscule. You're not that big of an impact on them. Now, one thing that I kind of, and I still hate the word somewhat, culture. I feel like people take that word and they run with it. And I'm like, all right, it's a weight room. Let's calm down. We lift things up. We put them down. We listen to big, heavy, loud music. It's not that big of a deal. But environment that you create for athletes is a big deal in its own self. And I kind of brushed that off for the longest time. And in the past year, I've kind of like, all right, you got to start picking that stuff up. So creating the culture, because a lot of people say Lance and Carr at Southern Miss creates a really, really good culture. And but you can't, one strength conditioning coach is not going to change a program, in my opinion. He can be making a team not ranked and ranked, maybe, like that little bitty, but they're not going to make a team that's not really that great become a national champion. You're not.
Well, maybe it means, like, if you have a good strength and conditioning coach, like, top to bottom, the program is just taken care of.
Yeah, you, for sure in that sense, like, your kids are going to be healthier. They're going to feel, if stuff is structured right and periodized right, you're not going to have some of the issues you see. It's in, like, injuries, fatigue, just load management in general. I mean, these kids got to go to class. I mean, they have a life too. So I've seen coaches that really go overboard and kids hate them. And then I've seen coaches that get it and they understand, and those people love them and they work for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that means a lot more than some people give it credit for it.
Yeah. How do you build relationships with your clients? Two of my favorite people that are clients of yours, Mateo and Henry Rubosh, homies. Shout out to them.
Mateo and Henry,
Ballers.
King Henry.
Yeah. But like, how do you build a rapport with the athletes you train, and while trying to get them better, but keep them coming back?
I'm myself every day in there. At first, I was a little bit frowned upon, kind of, because I'm a pretty outgoing, loud, obnoxious person, and but I can be a kid with the kids, and I can be a grown up with the grown ups, and the kids enjoy that. Mm-hmm. Even some of my pro athletes enjoy that. It's just being relatable, like being a people person. You can't. It's not boot camp in there, obviously, and they're also paying you to come there, so there has to be a give and a take, and I feel like some people don't get that. I definitely will say I slack off a little bit on them sometimes, being a little too nice, but no, you just got to be a relatable person. If you're not a people person, you're not in the right. You're in the private sector, which is what I do. So traction's private sector, college, that's collegiate, that's team setting. In the private sector, if you cannot relate to people, you're in the wrong business, for sure.
That's what I mean. Like, it very much seems like a relationship building, because somebody like I coached soccer for years, and I figured out like the best when I became a better coach was when I realized I just had to show up and be consistent, not necessarily be my best every day, but like especially with like younger players, younger athletes, they just want to know that you're going to be there, not necessarily like show out or anything.
Yeah, no, for sure. My Instagram became like a really big tool for me with athletes at one point because, everybody wanted to be on the story. They wanted to be on traction story. They wanted to show off how much they were lifting and stuff like that. And so then you're interacting with them. I don't go into as many games as I used to. Like when I first got back to Hattiesburg, I was going to games every Friday. Mm-hmm. Friday sparring night for me. That's the most important night of the week. So I have to be there. And I'm traveling on the weekends now to train. And I go stay Kansas City or Dallas every now and then. So like I'm just going a lot more than I used to be. But I'm still relatable with them. Like I still care about them, and I see how they're going with their game. Shoot them a text every now and then and stuff like that. And so
it's very much a balance because you have a dream you're chasing too, and that's admirable. Staying with the training though, so you have high school athletes that you train, collegiate athletes, and then you even train pro athletes. Like, what sports do you specialize in, or does it matter? And what kind of athletes do you see most?
What's funny is part of my failed soccer career was because I was extremely slow, and I'm a speed coach. So that's my thing. Like, people come to me because they want to run fast, and I was awfully slow. But I was also pretty fat in high school. Like, I wasn't super fat, but I was kind of fat, and I was the quarterback in my high school. And some of my buddies would say I was the fattest quarterback in MAIS, and I was like, "Oh, cool, that's funny."
What?
But I'm a speed. Yeah, I'm a speed coach. So breaking down running mechanics, putting the film out, studying film with them, teaching them, how to strike the ground, when to strike the ground, how long your straddling should be, how tall should you stand, when should you stand up, those type of things. And after that first kind of combine that I did here, which one was through COVID, so no one actually got to go. But then I worked with Tim Jones, and after that, like a lot of people saw that was really successful, and they were like, all right, he kind of knows what he's talking about. So, because, whenever we were growing up in high school, our strength conditioning coach was the football coach who wrote the program out on the board and then went sat in the office.
Right.
We didn't know what we were doing. So times have changed, and they're still going to change. In 10 years, the technology that everybody's going to be that they're going to be using is going to be just like groundbreaking. Like, it's going to be unreal. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had Tim Jones. What any other pro athletes that you've trained, especially for the combine? That's wild.
For the combine, we're in a small town, so I worked with Grayson Gunner for the past pro day. Tim Jones was combine and pro day. We've had like the Moore twins. They come through sometimes for just off-season work. Jordan Thomas, Nick Mullins when he was here.
Yeah.
Then a handful of baseball players. Surprisingly, there's a good population of elite athletes in Hattiesburg. it's just you're in Hattiesburg. I mean, these guys want to be in Houston in the off season, or L.A. or Dallas, somewhere like that. They don't really want to be in Hattiesburg. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I get it. They come through for like 2 weeks at a time, but
Yeah.
it's just part of it.
Right. No, I mean that makes sense. So you train these athletes, right? And that makes sense, like the running mechanics and everything, because you did exercise. Like that's kinesiology, right?
Exercise phys, yeah.
Exercise phys. Okay, so yeah, really breaking down how I've never thought about running in depth, as much running as I've done in my life, but like that's kind of fascinating actually. So how did you get from being a movement coach to then getting into mixed martial arts?
All right, so we have to go back a little bit. So when I got done with soccer, I was like, I want to do something that's going to keep me athletic. So I started doing jiu-jitsu, which is, that's grappling. Mm-hmm. And I started training with some guys in Jackson for like 4 months. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where it all started. Then I moved to Hattiesburg, wasn't going to do it again. Some stuff happened, life happened, I found myself back into a gym. Within a year and a half, I had my first fight. I mean, I was a complete hobbyist at that time. Like, I mean, I was in college. I was doing whatever I wanted. I didn't really care about it. I was training like 2 to 3 times a week. And it's just something that I liked back then. And I did 4 fights while I was going to Southern Miss. I mean, even when I was a strength conditioning coach or an intern, I would also, I was there for like 60 hours a week. We were there from 5 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. at night. And then I would try to train. And I did a fight back then. And then after that, moved off, did like 1 fight in Texas. And you could say there was like a 4-year gap between when I got done at Southern and then when I started back. Because I never thought I was going to fight again. Came back to it. Now fighting is 80% of my life and coaching's 20%.
Oh, wow.
So it's flip-flopped twice. It's a wild ride.
Okay, so what's it like fighting in the context of a sport? Because it's one of those, like, MMA too is like there's still like lots of rules to that. I know it can if you watch UFC, it can look brutal. And I mean it is brutal. But what's it like to fight when it's like it's just professional? Like, this dude didn't say anything about your girl, or maybe did, I don't know. But like, it's just, hey, you're assigned to fight this guy, and you still have to have that kind of intensity that you would have if you fought somebody over personal reasons. Like that, to me, that'd be very hard to separate those two, I guess, emotions. Maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way, though.
No, you're not. I do very well with that because I understand it's a sport, and I played sports my whole life. And I was not a fighter in high school. Let me tell you, I might have gotten 1 fist fight, and it lasted 5 seconds.
Right.
I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but
right.
You know where I was going.
Understood.
Yeah. So I have teammates that, like, all right, I'm not going to say his name, but there's this one guy from my gym that will, if he's fighting you, he will go screenshot your Facebook profile picture and put it on the background of his phone so he has to see you every day. Mm-hmm. And he gets very, worked up, mad at this person. Mm-hmm. He's a borderline psycho, but anybody that gets in that cage is a psycho. Everybody's crazy. I'm obviously crazy. But, I'm cool with you. At weigh-ins, I'll shake your hand. I've talked to dudes through DMs before we fought. It doesn't matter. Right. But whenever the cage door shuts, that's business. That's work. I literally just cut 20 pounds in a week to fight you, and I've been doing nothing for the past 8 weeks. Put my friends away, train. That's what I live. I mean, you get obsessed with it, and that obsession is kind of what will drive you. You're not putting that L on my record,
right?
Because that's permanent. That's permanent.
Right.
In football or baseball or soccer, you can lose a game a season, but you can't. You don't lose in fighting. You can't. So, you can obviously but it's a loss in MMA or boxing or an individual sport will set you back way more than in a team setting.
I feel like it's also the mental aspect. I grew up playing tennis, so it's very hard because it's not a team sport. No. I mean, I know you have a team behind you, but when you're fighting, it's just you. So if you do lose, it's so deeply personal. Everybody's there. I mean, the stakes are just so high. It seems like per fight.
Yeah, no doubt. And there's a lot of people. And that's what makes me so angry when people kind of talk bad about a fighter that lost, or like when Daniel Cormier cried after he got knocked out by John Jones, and I had friends that like shared that and made fun of Daniel Cormier. I wanted to fight every one of them. Like, you don't know what that dude went through, and that was the biggest day. There's guys that lost their high school homecoming and cried. Like, you cried at your high school homecoming. You're gonna cry. You're gonna make fun of that guy? Come on, you can't do that.
I think if you're going to make fun of anyone on the internet, you should have to say it to their face before you can post it, because you're not going to say that to Daniel Cormier.
Yeah,
that's DC. Like, you can't do that. Yeah, that's the thing, man. It just seems like it is that white line effect. And like, so I grew up playing soccer too, and there you can turn it on, but there's something about like the safety of a sport that's not combat sports. You know, like there's no safety. I mean, there's some safety, but it's like you're stepping into the octagon or whatever, a geometric shape to fight a cage to fight somebody, dude, for sport. Like, that's really intense. Like, do you ever think of it as being intense, or is it just? I mean, I'm just kind of fascinated. Is it just business?
I mean, the fight and wanting to win, that's business, strictly business. But yeah, like before the fight, I get really, really. So Dan Hardy said it the best. He said, because like usually in practice, like you don't knock people out, even if you have 4-ounce gloves on. I mean, sometimes it happens, sometimes you get dropped, but like having that anxiety in the cage of knowing like, okay, like I can lose in front of my family, my friends, millions of people. I could die. That is possible. People do die in MMA, but having like that extra touch of venom, that's what he called it. Extra touch of venom, like that's why you see some dudes that aren't really good in the gyms be killers when they go in the cage. It's just different. How do you arise to the occasion? How does your adrenaline work? I mean, I've never knocked anybody out in practice, and I head kicked my second pro fight, head kick, put him on the ground, and I was like, I've never done that.
Yeah,
so it's different.
Yeah,
yeah.
It
there's no way to describe it.
It seems like it, man. It's nuts, man. Well, look, we want to find out some more. We're gonna play a game with you too, but I want to hear more about how basically what your fighting career is. So after this, more Johnny Smith, MMA fighter. What are you doing, man?
I don't know. I'm just getting ready for the apocalypse, I guess.
What apocalypse?
You know, when people come at you with aggression.
Why would someone come at you with aggression?
I don't know. Maybe they don't like the way I bury my money around town.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to do to people if they don't use community bank?
That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my techniques.
Yeah, what are some of your techniques?
Well, it's mostly defense-based. I'm going to use their weight. I'm going to counterweight. And I'm going to
What if I grab your wrist and I'm like, I don't want a checking account?
Then I'm going to be like, whoa now, checking account. You need a checking account at Community Bank.
Oh, that's the move? Like,
yeah, I slap you on your wrist.
What's the move to like convince someone they need a savings account at Community Bank?
It's a little more aggressive.
All right, what's that one?
It's like a slap in the face.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How do you approve a loan? What's the stamp move? Is that a hammer fist?
7 jet skis, that's a ground and pound. That's like I'm going to try and knock some sense into you.
I'm on the ground and you're still hitting me in the head. And I'm like,
how many jet skis? And then you're just like,
I'm obviously unconscious and you're still hitting me and the ref's not doing anything.
Yeah, why would the ref not do anything?
Part of the game, man. Combat sports. Combat sports and Community Bank.
Community Bank.
Click the link in the description below to get your money right. They have checking, savings, bank loans.
Yeah, you can get a mortgage.
You can get a mortgage, and they have mortgage loan officers, like real people, not robots.
On standby.
You get to see them with your face. It's not like one of those CAPTCHA things like prove you're not a robot. Like you get to go talk to a person.
Yes, face to face.
They've been in business for over 110 years. They're in over 4 states, which means 4 states. Because what would over 4 be 5? They're in 4 states. Community Bank. Visit them today. They're homies. Trust us. This is how you're going to buy that house. You don't think you can own a home? Oh, well, you don't know anything. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Holler at Community Bank. Get your home ownership on. Get your money right. And let's just all live a good life. And basically, you don't want Jamie to attack you.
Yeah, because I'm going to take out a loan on 7 golf carts.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. I'm going to put wheels on my jet skis, bro.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Amphibious units.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. We're back with Johnny Smith, and this is, you think you could take him? We're going to list people who Johnny's got to fight. And it's a hypothetical. You don't actually have to fight these people. But I want to know if you could actually take him in a fight, or if you think you could take him in a fight,
All right, let me hear him.
All right, so first up, Conor McGregor.
with all realness, no, I'm not going to beat Conor McGregor. I don't know. If he's drunk one night, I think I can take him. You know, like, that dude does like to party.
It does happen.
I think you could take him, man.
I think I'm bigger than Conor. I'm definitely not stronger than him right now. I mean, that dude's on the juice. I don't know what's going on. He's getting ready for a Roadhouse movie, but he is jacked.
Yeah.
But who knows how hard he's training right now.
Well, you know, he's got a movement coach, and that was a big deal, you know, several years back that he was the only guy who had a movement coach in the game. But that kind of preparation in camps is a big deal, right? So with your camps, Jamie, you were talking about this, right?
Yeah, I was curious, how do you even get ready for a fight in general? Like, how do you study someone? Like, if you were going to fight Conor McGregor, what do you look for when you're studying up on your opponent? How does that work?
In best case scenario, you know who you're fighting within 8 weeks out. That is the best allotment of time. Anything more than that is just like icing on the cake. You don't need much more than that, but 8 weeks out is usually the best case scenario. So I'll tell you how this happens. My coach texted me, said, "Hey, we got you this guy. He's, it's Conor McGregor. Mm-hmm. He's 25-6, whatever his record is. I can't remember." And I would immediately pull up his Tapology. Okay, so Tapology is the Wikipedia for fighters, and you can go on there and you can see everything about them. Who they fought, when they fought them, when did they beat them, did they beat them in round 2 via rear naked choke at 2 minutes and 32 seconds of round number 2, what gym they're at, who's their coach, all this stuff. Then I go on YouTube and I try to find the fight. I try to find out who it is. I try to find their dimensions, how tall they are, what do they weigh. I mean, usually, okay, you know it's going to be 155 or it's going to be 170. And then you accept the fight. Cool. 8 weeks out, I mean, main thing you need is conditioning. Your weight has to be right. And some guys do not like watching film. They think it's stupid. I think they are ignorant. Because honestly, like, I've already watched, I'm 8.5 weeks out from the guy I'm about to fight. And I already kind of know my whole game plan right now around what he does.
Yeah. Keep going. Sorry.
So I study him, study who it is, what they do, what are their tendencies, what do they like, are they southpaw, are they orthodox, and then we just break it down from there. Like, what's going to be the game plan? What are we going to do? We're going to try to put them on the ground. We're going to ride them on the fence. I mean, what combos are going to work? I'm a switch stance fighter, so am I going to come out southpaw? Am I going to come out orthodox? You know, there's a lot that goes into it.
So with the Conor McGregor, like, what's one of his strengths, and then how would you try and deal with it? Like, I get it, he's like a legend, but like,
yeah. So Conor, last 5 fights been pretty bad. I mean, everybody knows that. He was kind of on a downfall. One thing with Conor is, you notice he hasn't done super good with southpaws. Dustin Poirier fights southpaw. Dustin Poirier is also a right-hander. He's not actually a southpaw, but he fights on southpaw stance because your right hand's closer. I feel like Conor has a little bit more trouble fighting a mirrored stance fighter. That means, like, if I'm southpaw, he's fighting southpaw. I mean, most of the guys he knocks out are orthodox. That creates a different angle. I mean, the foot position's off. Leg kicks, butcher him with leg kicks. I mean, you saw his last, foot broke. You slow him down. What makes Conor McGregor really good is his timing. So how he evades punches and gets right in. So his counters. But you chop his legs down, that slows him down. His feet get tangled up a little bit. And then eventually I would put Conor on the floor for sure. My best chance would be to sub Conor, no doubt. Or, I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but just ground and pound him out pretty much.
It's not somebody you'd stand up with. So then you'd work on more grappling in your camp, right? There'd be more of a focus in that camp for that fight.
For sure, no doubt. Conor is a brown belt. I mean, I've subbed brown belts before. I mean, I've been subbed by brown belts. I mean, it's not like that. I mean, I have a pretty good guillotine. I might catch him.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, if you have one good trick, that trick works pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right, next. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
All right. Dude's about 275. I'm going to tell you right now, I'd heel hook The Rock within 2 minutes, and I would snap his ankle. That's exactly what's going to happen. Now, would The Rock beat me up a little bit? Probably. I mean, he's gigantic, and he's on all the tests. But I could snap.
Bro, that's natural. Dude.
I firmly believe I could snap The Rock's ankle. No doubt. I could get a hold of his ankle and snap it.
Okay.
That's the game plan. No ifs, ands, or buts.
All right. What about this? Could you take Alf?
Alf? Like,
Yeah.
who?
The alien.
Dude, he eats cats, man. He's got a mean streak. Like, I'm just saying, could you take him?
Kind of like a Muppet.
Are we talking Alf the Muppet? That who we're talking
Yeah.
about? Oh, I didn't know what was going on for a minute.
Yeah.
I'm losing that one.
Yeah.
That one's off.
Jamie, could you take Alf, you think?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
He's scary.
He's too much for you?
Yeah.
We are pacifists.
I think
so.
it's his, a little bit. But I don't know. He'd probably, his jokes, they slay.
Yeah, he'd get you laughing and then,
Yeah.
get you. Okay. Yeah, I think we're all losing to Alf.
we're
personally. All right. What about Khabib?
I'm going to go and take an L against Khabib as well. But if I had to fight Khabib, obviously striking's not his thing, kind of the opposite of Conor. But he's got a pretty good pace on him. Hit angles, get a nice shot. He's been pretty perfect his whole career. But if you got good anti-wrestling, you can keep him on the feet. You're not going to chop his legs up, so you can't kick him. You kick him, you're going to take him down every time. But I might catch him with a good shot,
So that, like, and a lot of our viewers aren't, I'm just guessing, don't watch a ton of UFC or mixed martial arts. So you can go to the ground, so it's more like wrestling, jiu-jitsu, like the grappling type stuff. Or if you stay on your feet, you're dealing with more, it's really more like boxing, right? It's kind of, you're not really going to do a ton of other, like, I know you have to be an expert in all these disciplines, right? But that's pretty much what you're dealing with, right?
I would say, like, the best style so far that I'm starting to see that all the champs have is boxing and wrestling. Kicks are important. Muay Thai, which is the art of 8 limbs, that's elbows, knees, punches, and kicks. It's important. You need to be able to kick. But if you look at some of the best guys right now, there's Israel Adesanya. Yeah, he's good. He's the top of the game, but it's a lot of boxing, wrestling. If you can mix up boxing and wrestling together and have some kicks in there, you're gonna be pretty good. Like Kamaru Usman was unbeatable, untouchable, and it was from his jab and his wrestling. So,
Brock Lesnar.
funny story. My roommate, and there was a meme going around for a while. Like there was a meme going around about Brandon Moreno and Bruce Lee. No, I'm not beating Brock, but same game plan as The Rock. I'm going for his ankle. I'm going to snap that ankle as fast as possible. My roommate believed truly that Bruce Lee could beat Brock Lesnar. Not going to happen in a million years is Bruce Lee beating Brock Lesnar.
Right.
I mean, Bruce Lee was yeah, he had black belt, all that stuff, but the dude never really had a true fight that was recorded anywhere. So, no, I think I'd have to go for the ankle, but no, I'm going to take the L against Brock.
Bro, you get into the Bruce Lee thing, like that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood movie, too. They so disrespected him. Like, it's really, maybe he didn't have the fighting, like, pedigree that you would see with fighters now. Or maybe there's not the evidence, but like Jeet Kune Do, like being completely efficient with how you fought and like getting rid of forms is kind of like, don't you think that's kind of the birth of MMA?
Yeah, some people call him the grandfather of MMA,
Yeah.
or the godfather of MMA, because there's a couple pictures and in movies, like you see like the gloves we wear now, which is the 4-ounce glove without the fingers. There's a couple gloves similar to that he used. So yeah, a lot of, and like he was the first one to kind of mix it all up. They did kind of disrespect him a little bit, but I think some people have a like kind of false sense of pride in who Bruce Lee was,
Including myself. Be like water. I love Bruce Lee. I'm a huge Bruce Lee fan. Well, okay, this is a two-parter. You get to choose who to fight. Donnie T, Donald Trump, or Joe Biden?
I'm putting Joe Biden down fast and hard.
He's tired, man.
Sleepy Joe.
Just give him a nap, man. Let him
I'm gonna
rest.
make my sister really mad with that answer.
Sorry, sis. That's as political as we will ever get on this show. Who would you fight, Donnie T? I want you to fight both of them because I don't trust either of them. You know what I mean? I want you to. Can you do that for me? Actually, we're on a watch list now. Okay. All right. What about Anderson Silva?
fighting. I actually got to train with Anderson a couple months ago. He was actually in Hattiesburg.
Yeah, Graham MMA, right?
Yeah, it was. Anderson's kind of old. Youth on my side, I mean, there's a possibility there. I'm going to give that a toss-up 50-50, but soft legs now. Same thing with Conor. We're chopping the legs.
Okay, Anderson Silva in his prime, and then also, what was it like to get to train with him here? Like, Graham MMA is in Pedal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like in the Pine Belt, getting to train with a legend like that. What was that like?
It was pretty surreal. He's actually a really, really cool guy. I hope he absolutely destroys Jake Paul, and that will be done with this. I'm not going to... There's just like some stuff around the whole Tyron Woodley fight, whatever. He knocked him out. It happened. But there, if for any reason, sorry, I know I went on. I kind of have some weird segues here.
Yeah, you're good.
But if for any reason he beats Anderson Silva, it's rigged.
Yeah,
It's not going to happen. It shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But training with him, he was so cool. Like, he was very fundamentally sound, like as in how he taught. It was very fundamental and very basic stuff that was really, really, really effective. Like there's a lot of stuff. There's stuff that he taught me that I'm going to use in my next fight. That's already into my game plan.
Wow.
Yeah, just some of the small little angle switches he does.
And how many days did you get to work with him?
He was here for 2 days. Yeah, he was only here for 2 days, but
Wow.
yeah, he my coach's coach trained with Anderson.
Wow.
Out in what's Curitiba, Brazil? Yeah, that's where they're from. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Brazil has a huge pedigree. The Brazilian jiu-jitsu is so intense. Okay, Jake Paul or Logan Paul, I mean, and they have two first names. You can't trust either of them. But who would you want to fight, and what would you do to him?
Is this like MMA or boxing? Or a street fight? Saw him at KFC.
You pick it. What you want to do, and to who?
Not a Popeyes?
If I had to choose, not a Popeyes, dude. I haven't been at KFC in 3 years.
Respect Popeyes. Okay, that's for eating only.
Yeah. If I had to pick who I'm going to fight, it's Logan. Logan is definitely the worst of the two as far as fighting skill. Who I hate more is Jake. Jake's done some really good stuff for fighters. Dude's obnoxious, no doubt. I think I would just put Logan away super quick. It would be over with. Jake, I would love to fight him in MMA. Tie him up with some Dagestani handcuffs and just beat the brakes off of him.
Yeah.
I get the whole I'm helping like fighters get more pay and all that, but he's also disrespecting the sport at the same time. There's some good with some bad, but I just do not like Jake Paul.
It's kind of like at what cost, you know, because it is like people like us who aren't really fighters, you know about them, and that does bring awareness to the sport, but you don't want to cheapen it, you know.
No.
So I feel that. All right, Patty Pimblett, Patty the Batty.
Patty, soft chin. Me and Patty are actually in the same weight class, which Conor is too. Conor actually Khabib was too, but they're, you know, Patty's kind of the new guy, the new fresh guy. Patty's got some slick subs. I would avoid any close clinching with that guy. I mean, there's multiple videos of him jumping flying triangles, but Patty's got a soft chin and he keeps his chin up. And I think, and this is a true statement, and I'm going to be real, like, Patty, yes, he's in the UFC. He would probably beat me in a fight right now. But I think if anybody lands the right shot on that guy, he's going to sleep. I don't think Patty's going to be what Conor is. I think he has a chance, but dude's going to get knocked out in one of his next couple fights. He's going to get more up and up, and he just keeps his chin up. Like seriously, like the dude has a flaw in his game that is going to be detrimental in the future.
He says he doesn't get knocked out, but that's not really a
Scouters don't get knocked
strategy.
out.
Yeah, scouts, exactly.
So yeah, Patty's in the. How would someone like you're doing professional fights? How do you go up that ladder? How does MMA work in that sense, where you could be fighting in the UFC one day?
I get this question a lot, so I have it broken into tiers. I kind of explain it like baseball. I'm somewhere in between AA and AAA. That's where I would be. I have an agent, I have an agency, all that, and I fight. You know, if you're in like on a UFC Fight Pass card, which that's what my last fight was supposed to be, which got canceled. That's kind of like AAA. Like you're in a feeder to get there. If you're fighting amateur, which you're not getting paid, that's what I used to do. That's college. That's college baseball. Your first couple fights, local, really small. That's kind of your single A ball, your farm, rookie ball. But if you're on like Fight Pass or something like that, like if you're in LFA, Icon, Fury, any of these shows that are on UFC's actual streaming service, you're in one of the feeders to the organization. My route would be to beat this next guy. He's 2-0 undefeated. It would be my best win so far. That puts me 4-0. Next two, 5 and 6 are super important, so I'll need to fight 5 and 6 for a UFC Fight Pass promotion. Win those two, hopefully get invited on Contender Series, which is you win on Contender Series, you basically get into the UFC, and that's everybody's route. You 5-0, 6-0, get to that, you're gonna get a shot at Contender Series, and then you go up. But there's a lot of other leagues you can do. I mean, there's the PFL, which is the Professional Fighters League. If you win their tournament, which is hard, it's very hard to do that. It's not easy. You win $1 million. Bellator is another great option. Bellator pays a lot of money. I mean, there's guys that make $300,000 a fight for Bellator. And there's some overseas options, stuff like that. So there's different options to actually make money in fighting. But everybody focuses on the UFC. Other people are catching up, but that's what everybody talks about. It's like UFC, how to get to UFC, how to get to UFC. I'm not all gung-ho on UFC. I wouldn't have a problem going to Bellator or PFL. I wouldn't have that problem. And I think that could happen in one fight.
Well, and that's the thing, like, it's your job. Like, you just want to work, And it's cool that you have an agent to where you can just focus on the work, because the answer with all that, like, we joke about, like, I wear, like, Built Basics. I joke about getting sponsored. The joke is, if you ask to get sponsored, you shouldn't be getting sponsored. You should be winning enough, and you should be popular enough, whatever your craft is. If you focus on the work, which is what you're doing, everything else will fall into place. And that's what I mean with the fights. Like we talked about, like the pressure. I mean, this is like what you're doing with your life. So a win could mean Contender Series, can mean a different life, and a loss can, I'm not trying to like put any pressure. I know you already know all this, but it's like thinking about that, it's like, it's a lot, man. All right, last one. If you could fight anybody, any human from all of human history, who would it be?
Kanye West.
Kanye
West.
I love Kanye's music, don't get me wrong, but he's an obnoxious guy. And I think it'd be a pretty funny fight.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to run into Kanye at,
Yeezy.
You're a Pete Davidson guy?
Yeah, I'm Team Pete. For sure I'm Team Pete.
Yeah, I was going to say like Genghis Khan. He like got rid of a quarter of the world's population, changed the climate. He like murked so many people. I just want to just see what it's like. I would lose 100%. I'm okay with that. But I just want to see, who I could fight. Jamie, who would you fight?
Hitler.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a great one. Get him. That guy sucked, dude. Hitler was the worst. Ugh.
I'm still going Kanye.
Dude, this is a lot.
Man.
Like, you can DM him right now.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh,
He
dude.
might see this. Might can set this up for a charity fight.
We shouted out presidents and the Pauls. All right, Johnny, it was so awesome getting to sit down and talk with you. When's your next fight, though?
November 5th in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Okay, who you fighting?
Elijah Mitchell.
All right, you want to tell him anything?
Just be ready, man. Protect your neck. Don't let me get a hold of it, because I'm putting you out.
Man, we're a fighting show. Hardy Street Boys, big fighting guys. Everyone knows it. You know it. You know it. Heck yeah, man. Love it. Well, Johnny, thanks so much for sitting down with us. This was awesome. Jamie, can you play us out, please?
Sure.
So much drama. Really, we can give you this for your walkout.
I think I need that. I need Jamie's voice in the background.
Yeah. Johnny, man, appreciate you, homie. Thanks, dude.
Appreciate it.
Really, for sure.
I don't need it anymore.
You don't want that part? We can cut that out. He wants the drums, Jamie. Give him the drums.
Fight! 'Cause it's combat sports! November 5th, Tupelo, Mississippi.